Hi, this is Val Holdall. I'm in Emily Schaefer's Gender and Sexualities class, and I am focusing my gender stories video on androgyny. And I have two guests today visiting to be interviewed for this, and I'd like to start out with introductions. So if you could both say your name, your gender pronouns, your sexual orientation, and your gender identity.
All right, so my name is Sunny, and I'm male identified, so I prefer he, although I'm pretty fluid about that. And I identify as androgynous, and I'm, I guess you could say I'm gay. I'm attracted to other males, but that's also pretty fluid.
I'm Tay. My gender pronoun would be she. I'm female. Sexual orientation, I'm pretty much queer. Just it's complicated. And then gender identity, I would consider myself androgynous.
Okay, thank you. And now we'll go ahead and move right into my first question for this. So as androgynous individuals, talk about a time that you observed you were treated differently, or how people reacted, or even maybe how you reacted in a certain situation.
For myself, one of my biggest barriers come into public restrooms. Being androgynous, that makes it complicated when one's for men and one's for women, and you don't quite fit into either. There was a time pretty recently I was at a bar that was a more hetero bar, and I wasn't dressed up as much as I am now, but so I went into the men's room to use the bathroom, and this guy came in, looked at me, looked at the restroom sign again, looked at me, looked at the restroom sign again, and then eventually left. And so I decided I wouldn't go back into that one. But this happens pretty frequently. Another time recently I was at a Dollar Tree, and I needed to use the restroom, and they had single stall ones where you had to go get the key, but there was still a men's room and a women's room. And when I went to go ask for the key, she kind of looked at me awkwardly and was like, and which one? So things like this pretty frequently.
I have a similar experience in bars, though mostly my most profound experience would probably be at a club that was definitely geared towards heterosexuals, I guess. I was treated differently by straight men. They were, I guess, intimidated for some reason. I don't really know why, but I could definitely tell that they felt that it would be more okay to be aggressive towards me than they would towards, that I would assume they would be towards someone that was more feminine identified. And they were pretty aggressive towards me, and it did change. It didn't feel very good. It doesn't happen often, but it definitely has happened before. It's actually kind of changed my desire to go to places like that for the sake of lack of sensitivity, basically.
All right. Anybody want to say anything else before we move on?
Yeah, well, yeah, just going off on that, when I am in a state of being more truly androgynous looking, I definitely experience that more. And if I look more female enough, or from a distance, I'm more sort of passable to the other gender. It doesn't happen as much, but it's this weird experience of like, where do I fit in, and what restrooms do I use, and what clubs can I go to, and
yeah, I get weird looks in women's restrooms sometimes too, especially in club situations. I guess maybe they just assume I'm looking at them or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
locker rooms are weird.
Oh yeah.
So they can be.
High
school was weird. It's been better since college, though.
Yes.
All right, great, thank you, both of you. I have a follow-up question for that. After these experiences, have you ever felt conflicted to uphold your gender norms or your expected gender norms?
For me, I was conflicted, but not in the sense that I felt like I needed to be more feminine. More so, actually, that I don't fit and like lean one way or the other. I'm like directly in the middle for gender norms, I guess. So I was only conflicted because there's nothing much I can do. I feel comfortable where I am, and to change that would be uncomfortable for me. So it didn't really, I was just kind of like, oh, I guess I'm here. So that's my answer.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for myself, where those feelings have come up is when it's in relation to my safety or to my feelings of you know, how is this going to affect my future? What jobs I can apply for? Where can I work? You know, what social settings can I be in with my identity? But when I do try to suppress that and sort of conform to being male, I mean, it just feels like, you know, like you're kind of robbed of your identity, and that feels really awful. So, yeah, usually when I've tried that, it hasn't lasted very long. It hasn't worked very well.
Yeah.
So if anything now, I almost feel pulled more the other way. Like, you know, do I express myself more femininely and try to live more that way? But yeah, it's icky to have to try and make those decisions based on social expectations and
Yeah.
pressure and safety.
Yeah, when I was younger, I tried to do the same thing. I tried to kind of conform more to the female thing, and it just did not work.
Mhm.
And I just kind of, I didn't give up. I accepted myself, and I accepted that I don't fit into any sort of box. And I actually pride myself on that now. I think that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely, definitely. Yeah,
So,
I mean, it takes some courage, and it, yeah, definitely.
I actually have one more question.
Okay.
Okay. So, have you ever experienced any backlash from the gay community about your androgyny? And
That's a really interesting question. No, not for my androgyny. Maybe sexual orientation, because there's such a, like, people can really want to put people in a box, but not really because of my androgyny.
Well, thank you. I think that's a brilliant question.
I know.
And yes, it always feels awful to me when I hear gay men still making comments that are so sexist or so sort of transphobic. There is a lot of transphobia and sort of, I don't know, disregard for people who are not gender conforming, even within the gay community, and that I always find that so so strange. But, and this is not to generalize, but there is so much an ideal in many parts of the gay community to have someone who's straight acting or whatever. That's always so strange to me. But yeah, I do definitely face some discrimination within the gay community as well.
All right. Anything else to say? Okay, great. Thank you both for being a part of this interview. And as an ending sort of thing I must do, I need you both to give your consent to be in this video. So here's the paper, and just right below on the paragraph, if you could just read that.
I give my permission to have this video posted online as part of the Gender Stories project.
And I too give my permission to have this video posted online as part of the Gender Stories project.
And I, Val Holdall, give my permission to have this video posted on the YouTube Gender Stories project.